Hi, good morning. Thank you once again for taking the time for joining us at Money Talk Viewpoint. I'm Dennis Williams, your host. I'm with CashMap Consulting, where we show you how to use bank products to build wealth, be it for the individual or with organizations of any size. Once again, we have back with us Mr. Charles Dent of Xelantt Profit Strategies. He's been giving us insights over enabling businesses, regardless of size, to be able to move from no growth to sustained, scalable, predictable growth. And it has been giving us some tidbits over the last few months over how to make it simple and doable, measurable, and ultimately having a sense of satisfaction and seeing what's happening. We also have with us this morning Miss Marvi from Chat and Chew, a nonprofit. So here's a new spin that we're going to spend this time this morning talking about, is the reality of whether it's a nonprofit, a for-profit, or a virtual family office. The strategies and tactics are the same. And so we want to take time this morning with a real life example in which we'll be able to have a great conversation just around taking the strategies that Charles has presented to us and being able to see how they've been applied effectively in creating mindset change and achieving the desired results that Marvi wanted to see for her organization as far as founder. So, Charles, why don't we first start with you, and maybe I'll ask the question just to kind of come back again to the introduction to Marvi is, how did you two connect? And then I'd like you to pass it to Marvi as well for her to talk about her organization and what their focus is.
Well, yeah, so thank you, Dennis. Appreciate it. And thank you, Marvi, for being here. We originally connected through Marvi's husband. He and I worked together at a pharmaceutical company, and we were in the same department. We didn't know that we were working. I was running a project, and he was on the other end of the line a lot of times with his department and my department, and we had never met, but we were coordinating and working together. And then one day we happened to meet up with one another. He said his name, I said my name, and oh, so we actually know each other, but we didn't know we knew each other. And this was actually before Zoom and being able to see each other virtually. And we were in a large corporation. But then we met, and eventually I learned about Chat and Chew, or the concept of Chat and Chew, really. And then I met Marvi. Marvi met my wife, and the rest kind of became history, because then we created a relationship. But this concept she had, she continued to push forward. And eventually I asked her if she would like for me to basically be her business advisor and to help her to basically scale Chat and Chew. And that's how we got started.
Fantastic. So Marvi, tell us a little bit more about Chat and Chew. What was your vision?
So my vision was stemmed from my personal experience as a single mother of two, also homeless and a survivor of domestic violence. So when we first started this, it was just inviting a few women to my house and just sharing ideas how we can help each other, how we can network. Initially, that was the idea, was to network, because a lot of the women I know have side business. And so I thought, a great idea it would be to combine both groups of women and just have them network. Well, we soon found out that we all shared the same passion of helping the community. And it was from there that we took that brunch outside of my house, and we started Chat and Chew, and we became a 501c in 2018. So Chat and Chew, like I said, is based off of my own personal experience as a single mother, a homeless single mother of two, surviving domestic. And so our company extends beyond just your immediate. What makes us stand out is that the clients that uh, we help them for however number of months or years they need for us to walk outside of them to become independent. And they come back to volunteer with us and to give back to other clients. And so our vision is to cultivate resilient and supportive organization and community where single parents um, affected by domestic violence feel that they have a community of support rather than your one phone call and say, hey, I need this, and that will be the end of that support. So like I said, they come back to volunteer with us, serve with us, and not as strangers, but in the end we become family.
That's awesome. So how did you come up with the term, the name Chat and Chew?
That was out of the bunch when I invited women over to my house. Great things come out when women talk over food and chat over their experience.
Love the name.
Thank you.
Yeah. So Charles, when you're thinking in terms of strategic planning, which, unless you've gone to business school, that frequently is something that perhaps is a bit ambiguous or perhaps even a little bit scary. What are the steps that you use to kind of keep strategic planning simple, on point, measurable, results seen quickly, don't get bogged down in too much detail? Talk to us. What does that look like?
Well, strategic planning, as you know, Dennis, can be very complex because we make it complex. We tend to make it complex.
So you're saying if it's complex, that's a problem?
Probably.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why. But as it relates to, and I'll use, Marvy as an example, is one of the things that I think, stepping back is understanding, and you said this at the beginning, it's understanding it doesn't matter whether it's a nonprofit, for-profit, virtual family office, everyone does strategic planning, but the words strategic planning may be a little bit confusing. And, if we apply business school techniques to it, but we simplify it, from the standpoint of if in our discussions, I refer to it as just the business fundamentals, the foundational things that really set a business apart. So, and what that means is that the mission, the vision of a company, of an organization, that's part of the strategic planning because that really sets the foundation. And then what are the objectives of that organization? And do those objectives tie to that mission and vision statement? Or are you just off base? But fundamentally, when you start thinking about your vision, your mission, your objectives, your core deliverables, what's the unique value proposition that you're really trying to ensure that your clients, your customers, your donors, that they fully understand, what you're offering. And being able to tie all of that together is, to me, and to some extent, maybe oversimplification, but it makes it easy because now you have a foundation that you can become more complex in your strategic planning, because strategic planning can go very deep, and it all ties to what the objectives are that you're trying to deliver. And so on the surface, creating those objectives or has to tie back again to your mission and vision, but you can take those objectives as deep as you desire, And then how you achieve those, that's the planning part, right? So from step A to step Z, how do you accomplish that objective? And so, and again, you can go as deep and make it as complex as possible, but starting out complex is typically an issue. So need to start out at the basics first.
So when you started working with Marvy, and maybe Marvy, you should be the one to answer this question. As you started hearing this thing about strategic planning, what did you think and what change did you have to make in your thinking?
One of the things else made me realize is that a nonprofit is a business and I have to treat it as a business. There is many similar things that for-profit businesses go through that nonprofits do, such as setting out a mission. Stepping back in the beginning, Charles said, well, what's your mission and your vision? And I thought, well, they're the same. He said, no, they're not. So he helped us clarify our mission and vision, which helped us refine and ensure that we are on target with what we wanted to do with our ministry, with our nonprofit. So the first thing Charles did for us was change my mindset from, oh, it's a nonprofit, we have to, treat it as a nonprofit, rather than it's a business and money, there has to be money coming in as there are money going out. So so that was pivotal for me.